Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be in a rock concert, but we're not going to be playing a guitar. We're going to be playing a cross between a xylophone and a synthesizer, which becomes a Xylotar. Today we're taking a look at Xylotar, which is an interesting deduction-based trick-taking game from Bezier Games. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. Now in this game, there's going to be different cards of different suits. There are actually different types of notes, like whole notes and quarter notes and sharp notes. You don't have to worry about that. You can just worry about colors. If you don't know anything about music, it doesn't really matter. It's just cool with the theme. But there's going to be different suits, and the interesting part here is, like this suit here, cards only range from 0 to 3. So there's only 4 cards in this suit. This has 0 to 10, so there's 11 cards in this suit, and so on and so forth. So it's very important to point out that each suit has a different amount of cards, and you know what the range of those are. Like this is 0 to 6, but you don't know. It could be a 2, but there's only one of each card in the range. So there's only 1 2 of this suit, for example. And that is how sort of the deck is played. Now with 3 players, you actually remove all these 2 suits, and this is trump. Otherwise, red cards are trump. Now you'll deal out all the cards to each player. So we might be looking at these. This will be secret in our hands, and we'll put them in order, ranking from high to low, left to right. So in this case, the highest one's 8, 6, 5, 5, 4. The same, you just kind of put whatever color you want there. And when you're done, I know what these are, but these aren't going to be my cards, actually. This is high note cards going to go, and then you're going to get, past those cards to you. Now, what that means is when the player gets this, let's just assume we got them, we were past this from the other players. We know the high notes on the left. So we know the highest card is going to be on the left, but as we move all the way to the right here, all those are going to be the lowest ones. And this can be kind of interesting depending on, what you're looking at. Because, we look at this, and this one's 0 to 3. We know this one can't be higher than 3, right? And so this one's 0 to 6, right? And so we know that this one theoretically could be 0 to 6, but it's less than this one that's 0 to 3, right? And so there, even through deduction, you know that this, what this can't be, for example, and so on and so forth. Look at this one, 0 to 6, but this one's 0 to 4. So if this one's 0 to 4 and it's higher than this, we know that this one is actually 0 to 4. But you'll learn more as you start to do this. So that's sort of the deduction aspect of the game. So this works is somebody's going to lead a trick. So this card's 0 to 8. The player playing this doesn't know what this is. They flip it over. It's a 3. The next player has to follow suit if they can. Maybe they play the same suit. It's a 0. The next one plays a 4, and the next one plays a 7. Again, no one knows for sure, really, at the beginning of the game for sure what this is. This player would win. They would take this, they'd stack it up as running one trick, and then they would lead one. Now, I played this one. I led with it. It was a 3. So even after the first card, we know a lot. This one says it's 0 to 6. But we know that it has to be 3 or less. Everything to the right of this card needs to be 3 or less. Everything over here is going to be 3 or higher. So you're already learning certain things. So let's say the next player leads with a green, right? And you're like, well, do I want to play this one and learn? I know it's 3 or less. So I know that this is 3 or less. If they throw a 4, I know I can't win with this. Do I want to try to win, or do I want to try to learn information? Right? Let's say someone led with the green, and I throw this one out, 5. So I knew that this was 3, this is 5. So I know these ones are 5 or higher. These ones are between 3 and 5, right? And so now you're sort of learning a little bit about your hand. Now, by the way, if you cannot follow suit, you can play a red one. That is trump, and that will trump anything like normal trick taking. Now, let's say the game starts getting down towards the end once we the round, and we have this big gap here. This one's 0 to 4. This one says it's 0 to 10. This one says it's 0 to 8. So we know this one's really 0 to 8 because this one's always highest is on over here. So this one is 0 to 8. We know this one is it's definitely 0 to 4. If we weren't going to try to bid how many tricks we're going to win this round, you can do it any time right after you play a card. You take any 2 cards that are next to each other, and because there's no cards here, these are considered adjacent, we would secretly look at these. 2 or 6. Oof. That'd be tough. Am I going to win 2 tricks, or am I going to win 6 tricks? At that point, the one that you think you're going to win, let's say I'm going to win 2, you put this down next to you. And this one you just put back, but now you know what this is. And that's how you bid in this game. And now if you make your bid, if I win 2 tricks at the end, you'll get 5 points. You always get 1 point for every trick you take as well. So you're going to play 3 rounds of this game. The round ends when the last card's played. You see if you made your bid. If you do, you get 5 points, and it's always 1 point per trick on top of that. Whoever has the most at the end of the 3 rounds wins. And one of the negative things I'll be pointing out in my final thoughts are blackboarded cards that I never like in any games, period. This one, it's even more problematic because this card is 0 to 5, but you can already see just after a handful of plays, this one has some nicks where, let's say, this 0 to 5 card does not yet. So when you've played the games, maybe, 5 to 10-ish times, you might have some cards that are nicked, others are not. And now for the rest of the game, or the rest of the games, I know that the nicked suit from the 0 to 5 is actually a 1. Now granted, later on, as you play more than 10 or 15 or 20 times, everything's going to be getting a little bit nicked as you play a little bit more, and so it won't really matter because if none are nicked or all are nicked, it doesn't much matter. You won't have that problem, but it is a problem in, I'd say, the 5th play to maybe the 10th-ish play. It's going to be an issue, and you can't really sleeve these, so I would have liked to have seen these be white bordered cards. All right, first of all, cute and unique theme. I'm tired of seeing the same old thing over and over and over again. Nothing's like this. Now, granted, it is a trick-taking game, so the theme doesn't come through super strong in mechanisms. It's just a trick-taking game, but I like that they did this. It just made it fun. The whole backstory in this and the rules is hilarious. I'll leave it up to you to go read the rule book. It's really clever. I also love that thematically it looks like those little xylophones that you have that you've seen over your life, and it looks like that when it's in front of you. I think that's a really cool thing that it looks like it on the table. I like that the suits have different amounts of cards. So like the smallest suit has like, I think it's like 0 to 3 or something like that, but the larger one has a bigger range, and that has to do with the bigger size of that sort of metal plate there. I like that. It's thematically, it looks cool, and it actually helps you understand that some suits, it's almost like a backwards pyramid deck, right? Where there's a certain amount of cards in each suit, but you know what those are. There's a couple of big twists here. I typically like my trick-taking games to be pretty standard trick-taking with a few like little minor twists that are rules light, but then gives you a lot of depth and a lot of things to think about differently. I want to play a trick-taking game that makes me think differently than any other trick-taking game without it being a huge, complex, fiddly thing. This game does that. It's very streamlined, but it does make you think so different, and we found it extremely fun to play. Now this, more reasons why. The cards that you have. So you can't see your exact cards. And so you're getting these cards, you're spreading them out. You know that they go from low to high, right? From right to left in value, but you don't know which ones share values, but you can look at ranges and see that. I like that you cannot see your exact card numbers. And so as you're playing cards and you're like, sometimes you're playing cards in a trick because you're like, I really want to see what this number is because there's 2 other different suits next to it, the ranges overlap, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. So it's like a game of like, do I want to win the trick or do I want to learn information? And it's really interesting. And you're learning information as other players play tricks, right? If you watch one player play a pink card and the other one play a pink card, and you play, then you have a pretty good idea of what, if you have the other 2 pink cards, you know which one the last one's going to be after you play this one, things like that. So you're watching, you care what everyone else is playing, and it's really interesting. The most interesting part, there's 2 of them really, is like the timing of the bidding. So like you're trying to find the right time to bid because bidding, you're not going to win if you're not making your bid in this game. And I mean, you could if you shot the moon, but most likely you're going to need to win your bid because winning your bid's 5 points and then it's 1 point per trick. And so it's the timing of the bidding. And as your cards are being played, you're getting less and less possibilities for how many tricks you want to win, but then again, you don't know what numbers are under them, but you have a general idea based upon what happens. So do you want to bid early? Probably not, but in some cases you might want to, or you're trying to wait as long as you can and seeing what you're doing, but then while you're doing that, you're trying to think, maybe I'll win 3 or 4, so I kind of want, this was 6 over here, this was 2 over here. I don't want to use a lot of these cards in the middle, but you got to bid like right after you play into a trick, and maybe you get to look 2 of those cards. It's the timing of the bidding is awesome, especially because the state of the game of the suits and other people changes everything. Like when you're getting ready to bid, you're looking at what's there, what's here in front of you, and what's in the other players, and you're going, they're gonna get the lead in this one. They're gonna play that. It's probably higher than this color of mine. Am I ever even going to get the lead back, right? No, okay, let me try to bid this. Or, hey, I think that I'm gonna win this next one, this one here, I'm gonna get the lead, and so Now, if I play this, I think I'm going to keep the lead, so now my bid's going to be different. It's just like the state of the game changes so much what you want to bid just because of the way that the cards work, and you can't really see exactly which cards you have. It's really interesting. It was quite fascinating. I also like that when you're bidding, you're trying to bid from 2 different cards. So you're looking and you're like, oh, okay, sometimes it's the same number. You're like, ah. Sometimes they're a little higher than you expect, or a little lower than you expect. You're like, ah, right? So that's why sometimes you might want to bid a little earlier if you're not really sure, or you have a good information about what's there. Otherwise, you're trying to wait till a little bit later when you're a little bit more sure about what might happen. It's very interesting. It's fun. It makes you think differently. On the negative side of things, I do not like black-bordered cards in games. I just don't. They nick easy. I like the little white. If you're gonna have a black card, I typically like to have a small white border around it. This game, it's even more problematic because it's a deduction game. And I showed you in the overview that there was a card that had 3 little nicks on the side. It's gonna happen. The other cards in that suit don't have it. So you can just look at the thing and know what that is. That's a problem in this game. The upside to that is, as you play the game, all the cards are gonna get nicked, right? And so eventually you won't be able to tell. But when you first start playing the game and over the first handful of plays, some cards are gonna get more nicked than others, and because it's a deduction game, and because you can't really sleeve these, because you need to be able to see what's on the back of them. And so, I don't know. It's a problem, I would say, during your 3rd to 10th play of the game. And then after that, it's not going to matter. So there you have it. The other one is the memory element in this game is very strong. Number one is you're looking at all the cards. You're putting them in order and passing to someone else. People that have a better memory are going to do better in this game because you're going to remember what cards are in there. As cards are being played, you're going to remember that, oh, you know what? He played a 6 on that card like 4 tricks ago, which means that card can't be, and that's going to change the way that I bid because now I know who's going to win the next. So what I'm saying is memory is very strong in this game. Stronger than I typically like. I do not like this much memory in the game, but because the game is still so fun and so engaging, I'm almost giving it a pass because the rest of the experience, even though I know that hands down, I think the person with the best memory is gonna win this game most of the time. I don't like that. But it's a light game, it's a quick game, it's a fun game, right? This is one of those games that's like I'm playing really cutthroat. I'm playing it for fun and just for the experience. And because of that, I'm gonna bring my last point is I would really love to see an advanced version of this, an official advanced version with the deduction sheet. Where now again, theoretically players could then start making deductions based upon what they just passed at the beginning of the round, and then their memory element's still gonna help them. Maybe there is a way where you can set up a hand, you put it in the middle, other players just pick one of those randomly so you don't know who got that hand, maybe it makes it. But I would really like it where I could just have like a little sheet and I can keep track of what cards I played and what cards other people's played. And so it's more of a deduction game and less memory. Now, if you have perfect information, the one reason why you wouldn't want to do this is because, of course, at that point, it's then going to be an AP-inducing, analysis paralysis-inducing deduction game, where people are going to be staring and looking at their notes. But that's kind of what I want this game to be. And that's kind of what my deduction friends want this to be. Not everyone's going to want that. Most people will probably hate that, which is why it's not here. But for people that want less memory and more deduction, I think there should be an advanced version with a little note sheet you can put on Board Game Geek and just print it off, and you fold a little paper up, you keep your notes as to what cards you've played, what cards you've played, so you don't have to remember them all the time as to what played when, what cards people are playing, so you can start deducing which things might be in your hand, which will help you with the bidding. I just think it would be much more interesting, even though the game's awesome as it is, but of course it would definitely take way longer. So that's your trade-off there. Bezier, please do this for me. Ted Alspach, that runs Bezier Games, I know he loves deduction because he loves Search for Planet X. In fact, and he is the one that designed the new search for, he's going to kill me, I don't remember the name of this. Not the UFOs, but the unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP. He's the one that designed that game based upon Planet X. So he's a deduction killer. He loves deduction games. He's amazing at them too. So Ted, please make me an advanced deduction version of this. I mean, if not, I'll just make the sheet myself, but I would like it to come for you so it's official. Anyway, I really like this game. It's really fun. If you hate memory games, this might not be for you. I don't like memory games, but I still really enjoy it. So there it is. That is Xylotar. It's been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games, helping you on the next one you love. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, and if you missed their 4.0 Kickstarter, you can still late pledge and take advantage of over 40 unlocked stretch goals and early fulfillment. This campaign featured a new Young Sherlock table, perfect for children's gaming, and movable coffee table, 10 new thematic mats by top artists like Vincent Dutray, a new designer art series Minecraft topper with thematic art from Brent Woodside, and some of the best package deals they've had, including game mat bundles. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below to late pledge now.